Week's main news. Bakhtiar Hajiev sentenced to 2 years in jail. It's not worth comparing situation in Azerbaijan with Belarus, European Parliament President says. 15 people arrested from 2 April protests to date. Eastern Partnership Forum. Court proceedings on lawsuit against Customs Committee underway. State oil fund at risk, claim economic experts. Caucasian religious representatives call for prevention of Arabian revolutions.
Today, the Nizami District Court of the Ganja City passed a sentence on the case of youth activist Bakhtiar Hajiev, charged with evading military service, his attorney Elchin Namazov told Objective TV. Judge Emina Khundov presided over the hearing. According to Namazov, after deliberation, Khundov announced the decision to sentence the activist to 2 years in jail. Deeming the sentence unfair and biased, the attorneys appealed the decision. A criminal case against Bakhtiar Hajiev was launched in late January 2011. At that time, he signed a statement of commitment not to leave the Ganja City. In late February, his pretrial detention was replaced with release on police bail. On March 4, 2011, Hajiev was sentenced to a 1-month pretrial detention. It is widely thought that Hajiev was arrested for his activity on social networking sites and his support of the March 11th Great People's Day campaign.
There is a wide range of opportunities for EU-Azerbaijan cooperation, and the economic achievement of the country makes me happy, the European Parliament President Josip Buzek told a press conference on May 20 in Azerbaijan. In my meetings, I called on the Azerbaijani authorities to cooperate with the opposition. This cooperation will cover the spheres self-expression, freedom of assembly, and an independent judicial system, Buzek noted. Buzek's answer to a question on the situation in Belarus and Azerbaijan was interesting. Up until last presidential elections, Belarus lost the chance for representation in the Parliamentary Assembly. The last parliamentary elections in Belarus were deemed as unfair by the European Union as well. It would not be fair to say the country's situation is worse than that of Belarus. It is not even worth comparing these two countries. Nonetheless, Azerbaijan needs to improve the situation in the spheres of self-expression, media and freedom of assembly. In today's meetings we heard that the leadership is determined to do it, Buzek said, and then added that he had discussed with the country leadership the issues of imprisoned journalist Einullah Fethullayev and youth activists Bakhtiar Hajiev and Jabbar Sabalanlı.
Today, the Defense Committee for those arrested at the April 2nd protest held a press conference at the Musavat Party office. According to the committee, 15 people have been arrested to date. The Baku City Police Office and the Prosecutor's Office co-established an investigation group consisting of 30 investigators. All of those arrested are being charged under Article 233, organizing of protests promoting infringement of social order or active participation in such actions of the Criminal Code. They all have been sentenced to pretrial detention. According to the report, none of the lawyers' motions for the replacement of pretrial detention and house arrest have been passed. Committee Chairman Vidadi Mirkamal stated that they are all being recognized as prisoners of conscience and that international communities are demanding their release. State agencies claim that the protests failed to take off. Then why were these people arrested if there was no protest? Said Vidadi Mirkamal. The committee mentioned the people at the protest who broke windows, stole cars, and resisted police, claiming that they were provocateurs sent in by the authorities. Committee member Vagif Hajibayli spoke about the involvement of hundreds of persons in investigation. According to him, this investigation is a government strategy designed to put fear among citizens as opposed to uncovering the truth. Problems still remain in the relations between the European Union and Azerbaijan, though 2 years have passed since the launch of the Eastern Partnership Program. Head of the EU delegation in Azerbaijan, Roland Kobia, said in the conference held on the theme of Baku Conference, EAP After 2 Years, Successes and Challenges, on May 18th. Kobia spoke about energy security, development of a dialogue on civil society forum combining NGOs of 6 countries, and joining of the same countries' parliaments into a Euronest parliamentary assembly. Kobia also said that negotiations on free trade have not started yet. This agreement would allow Azerbaijan to export its 6,000 types of goods without paying any duty. Ministry of Foreign Affairs Department for Human Rights, Democratization, and Humanitarian Problems Chief Almirzan Askarov said that Baku and the European Union are ready to conduct negotiations on all directions of the Eastern Partnership. He believes that it will be possible to start negotiations regarding a simplification for a visa regime. Besides, Askarov condemned the European Parliament's resolution on human rights in Azerbaijan. He said that it is based on unverified facts. The Eastern Partnership Civil Society Forum co-chairman Antonella Valimbordia emphasized the importance of the dialogue between the government and civil society. Defense League for Labor Rights head Sahib Mammadov said that democracy is disputed in Azerbaijan. On one hand, the government allocates funds for development of mass media. On the other hand, journalists are arrested, mass media representatives are persecuted. The country ensures the law and freedom of assembly. However, mass protests are not allowed, he said. Legal Education Society head Intigam Aliyev noted that the situation of democracy and human rights is worsening in Azerbaijan. If the Strasbourg court made 15 to 20 decisions on violations during elections, it means that the election was unfair, said Aliyev. At present, the coordinator of the Eastern Partnership Civil Society Forum is Rugar Bayramov. 6 post-Soviet countries, Azerbaijan, Armenia, Belarus, Georgia, Moldova, and Ukraine, are involved in the Eastern Partnership program. Today, the Baku Local Economic Court No. 2 held a preliminary hearing on the lawsuit filed by Institute for Reporters' Freedom and Safety Chairman Amin Husseinov against the State Customs Committee, the Ministry of Justice, and the Ministry of Finance. The lawsuit requests the court to declare the activities of these public institutions illegal, to rule for the prohibition of discrimination, and to demand financial compensation for material and psychological damage. Amin Husseinov, State Customs Committee Representative Mushfik Sadigov, Etimad Habibov from the Justice Ministry, and Samir Nasibov from the Finance Ministry were in attendance. First of all, the judge encouraged the parties to reach a mutually satisfactory agreement. Husseinov said that a truce can only be reached when the Customs Committee returns the property that it illegally seized. Relevant measures are taken against the committee employees guilty of violating legal procedures. The Justice Ministry Examination Center admits that it valued and inventoried his property incorrectly, and he receives an apology. Husseinov also objected to Etimad Habibov's role as a representative of the Justice Ministry on the ground of a conflict of interest. The judge asked whether the Justice Ministry's Examination Center is recognized as a defendant by all parties. The issue will remain open until the next hearing. The judge then asked the Finance Ministry's representative to declare their position regarding the lawsuit. The representative said he would answer the question at the next hearing. State Customs Committee representative said that they do not approve the lawsuit. The judge ordered the Justice Ministry Examination Center to present a charter to the court to confirm that it is a legal entity. The judge decided to continue preliminary hearing on June 10th. On his way back from a business trip to Dubai in February, human rights defender Amin Husseinov was detained at the customs checkpoint at Baku International Airport. 2 mobile phones, 2 TVs, and several car lights, as well as 2 old cameras, were confiscated.
The Transparency in Mining Industry Coalition held a press conference today. The coalition believes that at least 2 new laws are required for more effective public supervision of companies dealing with the production of oil, gas, and gold. The proposed laws are a law on supervision of production and a law to regulate the activity of the State Oil Fund. Azar Mediev, head of the Centre for Assistance to Economic Initiatives, stated that the government is not interested in encouraging transparency in these monopolised sectors, which are largely state-owned. The coalition recommends 8 different forms of reporting. Mediev says that NGOs should be provided with copies of these reports. Ali Mamad Nuriev, coordinator of the Anti-Corruption NGO Network, brought up the need for regulation of state oil funds. With a balance of 25.7 billion manat, the fund should not operate exclusively under presidential decrees and orders. The head of the Economic Research Center, Gubad Ibadoglu, declared that Azerbaijan should follow the example of a number of African countries which have implemented control mechanisms for state funds.
Today, the Caucasus People Supreme Religious Council held a report meeting in Tapazir Mosque. The council was founded in 1992. Northern Caucasian religious bodies and leaders operate in the composition of the council. Karachay-Cherkess representative Ismail Berdiev assessed this as a unity of religious community despite different political borders. Council head Sheikh Ul Islam Alashukur Pasadadeh made a report speech. He said that the arrangement of the event in Baku is attributed to Azerbaijan's central moral role in the region. He said that the event will increase the reputation of the country. Chechen's representative, Sultan Mirzaev, said that these events are arranged for discussion of a settlement of problems. Mirzayev said that religious radicalism has decreased in the northern Caucasus. However, there is a need to work with youths to remove it completely. Caucasian Muslims Office delegate to Georgia, Ali Aliyev, said that there are 1 million Muslims living in Georgia. He also informed that about 30 mosques have been built or repaired in Georgia. The religious leaders adopt a resolution at the end of the event. The resolution said that despite the separate role of politics and religion, they should both be aimed at serving the peace, people's right for life, and welfare. The document says that the conflicts in Arabian countries could lead to a world war. The resolution condemned the interference in the country's internal policy.